Hello, I'm Aidan.
And I'm Josh. Welcome to Undead Ramblings, where we talk all things Call of Duty Zombies, amongst other games, movies, and other media.
This is episode 9 of our podcast. We're very close to 10 now, which, I mean, obviously that does follow after 9, so yeah. That's for dummies, kids. We're recording this on the 10th of April 2025. Last episode, we put our rankings in for the World at War Zombies maps and our likes and dislikes for Black Ops 1 as well. So feel free to go and check that out if you haven't seen it, as well as any previous episodes. Thank you to everyone who's watched and supported it so far. I've decided to bring this bit in at the start, but just because it makes more sense. So if you haven't already, please do the usual YouTube pleasantries of like, sharing and subscribing. Josh is at 8,445 subs, so I would like to set him a goal to reach 8,500 subs before the end of the year. So see if you guys can help him on the way with that.
I'm blushing. No, seriously, I didn't even see you'd put that.
Set yourself the goals.
I didn't even see you'd put that till just now.
Just before Josh goes into channel updates, just something on the top of my head. If anyone is interested in helping Josh and I out with getting footage for the Black Ops 1 4-player Easter eggs, so like Ascension and Shangri-La, we are looking for players to come and help us with that. So if you're interested in that, and if you have an Xbox, please leave a comment or message Josh in the Discord if you're part of it already, and we'll get you on board.
Alright, sounds good. That's a good shout, actually, because I totally forgot about that. Because we mentioned it at the end of last episode, was it?
Yeah, and I'm just aware that Black Ops 1 is fast approaching.
Yeah, that's true. Like I say, we've been stonewalled by these Black Ops 1 4-player Easter eggs and Black Ops 2's 4-player Easter eggs. We definitely appreciate the help if anyone's interested in going through that on Xbox. But yeah, just for channel updates, you've probably noticed already if you're around the channel, but I've started uploading the soundtrack for Terminus and the Beat Falls after several delays. Yeah, it's been a bit of a handful with, the whole... I believe we mentioned it in the first couple episodes we did, but just the reason it's taken so long is because of them releasing official soundtracks and whatnot. I didn't really want to step on anyone's toes, so I wanted to leave it quite a while before I started uploading that. So like I say, I don't want to get in anyone's way who's uploading them elsewhere and all that sort of thing. And I do highly encourage that you buy them, 100%. So if you want to support Treyarch, Kevin Sherwood, all that. Feel free to go and buy it. The link is in the description of those videos. I believe there's only 2 tracks up. Well, there'll be about either 4 or 5 by the time this one goes up. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to upload them twice a week or 3 times a week yet. So we'll see what happens next week once we get around to that. I'm currently thinking of 3, but I might bring it down depending on how much effort these trying to do the podcast at the same time, because as you know, Aidan, we've had a bit of a week off to play the new map, haven't we? So I thought now would be a good time to start it. But once we get back in the flow of it again, I'm not quite sure how it's going to work, but we'll see. We'll play it by ear. Beyond that, though, there's not really a whole lot as far as zombies news goes. So we're probably going to be covering more retroactive stuff that was added in the blog post for Season 3 that we never got to touch on last time. And that's the inclusion of Frostblast, which is apparently coming mid-season. A Zombie Snacks limited time mode, which has no description about it, so looking forward to seeing what that might be. I genuinely have no idea. Maybe the description is in there, but I just skimmed it. I don't know, we'll have to see. We've got Team Cranked. For God's sake. Yeah, we have Team Cranked, which is basically the same as the Cranked we've just had, but instead of like having one timer per player, it's now shared, which I think is definitely an improvement based on my experience with the last one. And the death machine, which I don't think needs any introduction really. Just the minigun from Black Ops 1. And is it Black Ops 4 that also uses it as like the score streak? I believe it is.
It's a specialist, yeah. I miss when it was a power-up, though.
Yeah, true. I wouldn't mind getting
Can
a
we
freebie.
old-fashioned?
A freebie version again. Certainly wouldn't be missed.
Yeah, that would be...
Sorry, what we said?
That would be nice. I was going to say that would be nice.
Aye.
Just kind of touching on some of those things that have been mentioned. I'm going to be real with you. I'm probably not even going to touch the limited time mode.
No, I get you.
Ones myself. I didn't even touch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle one. Like, it's just not appealing to me whatsoever. But you'll have to let us know if you jump on it, what they're like.
I will do. I'll probably give them a go at the very least. I won't say my expectations are too high, but we've talked about it before. But I think the biggest downside to this is limited time modes. They should not be limited time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for real.
Should just keep it in the game. It just adds more content. I don't know why they would take it back out again. Just feels more like engagement farming than anything else. But
yeah, absolutely.
Unless you had
what do you think of like Frostblast? I was just going to ask, like, what do you think of Frostblast coming back? I honestly don't remember using it all that much in Cold War, so I'm hoping maybe it will like get the Tesla Storm treatment and have a bit of a glow up.
Oh yeah, it was okay in Vanguard. I didn't mind it in Vanguard, but I didn't use it in like Black Ops 4. Is it Black Ops 4 that has it? No, Cold War.
No, it's Cold War, yeah.
Yeah, Cold War. No, I didn't use it a whole lot in Cold War, but I remember liking it in Vanguard. So if they maybe keep it like Vanguard's version, I'd maybe consider using it a bit. I'll still give it a go. You know, it's a new bit of equipment to play with, so you know there isn't really any reason not to try it. So we'll give it a go, and we'll get back to you about it if it turns out to be any good.
Sounds good.
All right. Do you want to take us through the topics then?
Yeah, sure. I think this is going to be a relatively short video or podcast today, which is probably a relief for some of you, considering how long some of our videos have been. This episode, though, we're going to cover The Shattered Veil and our thoughts on it. So for us right now, as of recording, it's been out for a week or two?
Yeah.
No, about a week.
Yeah, I think about a week, yeah.
Yeah, so by the time this goes live, it should be out for a couple of weeks. So I'm sure if we think of any other things that we wanted to mention, we'll put it into the next video. But for this episode, we're going to do our usual kind of shtick when we cover these new maps. So our thoughts on the map, mechanics and gameplay and map design, the cast, Easter eggs, soundtrack, and then just any other bits that we've forgotten to mention.
Alright, sounds good.
So, let's dive into it. Our thoughts on the map. So, firstly, I want to, before you dive into your actual thoughts on the map overall, Josh, let's talk about our predictions before this map went live and what was right and what was wrong.
Well,
so, do you remember what your predictions were?
I remember predicting we'd see Panos in this one, which we did not get, so I guess that's one.
Okay.
Beyond that, I think one that we both had to a degree was that the Wonderwolf was going to be the central focus of this map, which turned out not to be the case.
Yeah. I mean, we got it right that it was going to appear in the map, but I genuinely thought it was going to be the main wonder weapon. I was quite surprised that it wasn't for a change in that the Mark II was coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
That completely blindsided me.
Yeah, same here. Like, I was not expecting the ray gun to steal the show, but it really has with this map. It's definitely the main focal point, isn't it? That they're focused on with this.
Yeah.
Beyond that, though,
I was right that the disciples were coming back.
Yes, that's a good shout, actually. I'll be honest. No, I'll wait till we get into it. I'll wait till we get into it because we're going to be talking about them later.
What?
The disciples.
Okay, fair
I'll wait till we get into them later.
No worries. I had thought of one that a prediction that you were kind of wrong about though.
Oh,
The
what's this?
amalgams.
Oh no! This one hurt. I was thinking, we're free of vermins, we're free of parasites, we're free of not doppelgass so much. We're free of manglers even, but that managed to sneak back in as well.
Yeah, so if you exfilled like an amalgam can show, which
Yeah.
I was absolutely cackling when I saw it.
And even worse, I don't know if you've seen it, but you can also get an amalgam if you keep a disciple around for long enough. So you can also get them
really?
mid-round as
Okay.
well, yeah.
Lol.
I was singing from the rooftops when they said that there was no amalgams, and and they've
Lying
trolled me.
through their teeth.
Yeah, they've let me down.
Classic troll arc.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, predictions aside, what's your initial thoughts on the map?
All right. So, I definitely like this one. I think it's a big step up from the Tomb for sure. Like, it's hard to say exactly what it is that I like more about it. Whether it's the weapon variety, the flow of the map, that sort of thing, the atmosphere even. I'm not entirely sure exactly what it is that just works for me a bit more, but there's something about this one that I just enjoy playing more than I did with the Tomb. I don't like. It could be because we had kind of a bit of a mixed first experience with the Tomb, whereas this map has gone a lot smoother for us. So it could be down to that. But I do think overall the map's a lot more accessible and a lot easier to get into than the Tomb was. No, I really enjoyed this one. It definitely feels like they're getting, back on the beaten path a bit with this one. It feels like the Tomb was a bit of a misstep, and now like I say, I'm not going to say it's the best map on Black Ops 6, but I do think it's a solid entry. I did find myself enjoying this one, and I have gone back to it and played a few high round games on it just for fun, which I didn't really do with the Tomb all that much. Initially, I found a bit more to like here. What about you?
Yeah, I'm a bit mixed on it, to be honest with you. Like, it's a very... I would agree with you that it's definitely a solid experience. Definitely a step up from the Tomb. But I think compared to, like, Terminus and Citadel...
Yeah.
Like, I think this map sits very comfortably. If I was to rank the maps, this one would sit very comfortably in the middle.
Yeah.
Like... I like the idea of it. I like the flow of it. I certainly like the areas that you can train in.
Yeah.
Though, I think from a camo grinding perspective, this map doesn't really, aside from getting headshots, this map doesn't really offer much in the way of like special enemies. So you can't really.
True.
I still say Liberty Falls is probably the best map to camo grind on.
That being said, though, if you don't mind me interjecting real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
If you do farm the disciples, they will spawn doppelgasts and that endlessly. So you can farm them that way. But the longer you leave them, the worse the situation's going to get. So it's really more a case of how much you can take.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
And like
it's kind of like playing with fire, really.
Yeah, exactly. And as you say, like if you're camo grinding, the chances are you're going to end up eventually having to do a weapon you're not that keen on. And you don't want to be in hot water with a rocket launcher, for example, or something like that, or a sniper rifle, and have to deal with like amalgams and doppelgasts all running about. It can get a bit crazy.
For real. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just something about it just doesn't feel as satisfying as something like Citadel or Terminus. Like I think, like. I like the story to an extent, though there are some... We'll get into that more like later on, but like there were some like real kind of obvious beats as to where that was going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm mixed. I think it's I'm very mixed on it. There are parts of it that I like, and other parts that I'm a bit iffy on, which we'll discuss as we go on. But, yeah, I would agree though. It's definitely a step up from the Tomb.
Yeah,
and it's above mid, I think.
it's funny because
me.
that's kind of where I think I'd put it as well. It's kind of like, I'd say overall it's kind of average.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like maybe in a way it feels better because we've just had the Tomb. And maybe that's why I'm so positive about it, because I didn't enjoy the Tomb as much as I hoped I would. So I was kind of a bit burnt by that one.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm giving this one too much credit. But I don't know, there is...
Yeah, no.
There is some charm to this one. There is something that keeps me hooked and keeps me coming back. I just can't quite phrase it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like, I think we didn't enjoy the Tomb. I think that's pretty obvious. Like, there were elements of the Tomb that we enjoyed, but like there were a lot of frustrations that we had with the Tomb. Yeah. And I think with this map, I think there's just no wow factor for me.
I don't know. Is it that boss fight? Spoilers.
Aside from the boss fight, perhaps, but even then, I wouldn't say it's my favourite boss fight. I like the premise of it, but just overall, there's no kind of wow factor for me. Yeah. I think for me, there's a lot of stuff in the map that we've already seen before. Yeah. Like, even the wonder weapons, we've already seen them before, so like there's nothing kind of... Nothing that I'm going to kind of take away from this map is very memorable, if you like, so to speak.
No, I would totally agree with that. I could see people coming back and being like, in, I don't know, 10 years' time and saying, I don't remember Black Ops 6 for Shattered Veil. I think that's a totally fair takeaway. But, like I say...
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a map in a previous game that I would compare it to.
I'd probably compare it to like something like Forsaken, or even Alpha Omega, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I don't know why, but my brain's going to Zetsuba. There's something about Zetsuba that rings true for it as well. It could be just the setup and the crazy amount of doors, and it's a very expensive map to open. There is a lot of doors, for sure.
There is a lot of doors.
Yeah, it's becoming a thing in Black Ops 6. They love having loads of doors in this game, in particular.
I mean, I suppose we're now going into kind of the topic 2, like mechanics, gameplay, and map design now. So what do you think of like how the map flows and the different areas of the game?
I'll say this. I think you made the right choice by playing Resident Evil before we played this. Because it's probably made getting used to the mansion layout and that a bit easier.
yeah, absolutely.
Because I remember making that joke when we played it. About how, this reminds me of Resident Evil. Just getting lost and trying to find where everything is. It took me more...
Yeah, it took you...
Oh, go on.
I was just going to say, like, in our first couple of games, you definitely got... Like, you did actually get lost a couple of times, didn't you?
I did, yeah. It took me a little while to get my bearings on this one, 100%. Normally I like to think I'm pretty decent at learning maps out the gate, but this one really threw me at first. I just could not get my head around. It's that area where Richtofen's room connects to that nursery bit with the whiteboard, because they both look so similar at a glance. So I always end up going one way when I'm trying to go the other. And there's that one garden that's closed off. You know, the bit that actually the bit we were on in the footage that we might be showing now, where you wanted me to shoot that plant.
Oh, the plant.
And I'd gone all the way around the other way, and I'm like, I don't even know how to get to that garden now. If I think about it in my head, I cannot path to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've gotten better at it, but I was confused about it initially. I think one of the big talking points we had when we played it was it really could use fast travel. A bit more fast travel of some variety, because it takes a long time to run around each of the areas to get where you want. Without stamina up, the map can be, I don't want to say tedious, but slow.
I would agree with that. Like, I mean, we know that there is that portal that goes from like spawn to the armory room, but I wouldn't say that's. I'd say that's an okay fast travel, but I feel like there needs to be another one, another portal that goes to the kind of maybe central lobby area.
I think the biggest problem with that portal is it's at one end of the map, and at the other end there's no in between. You either have to go right to the bottom of the map or right to the start area, which is like quite a trek. So it's like either way you choose to go.
And both ends...
Oh, go on.
Yeah, and both ends are like nowhere near where you actually want to be. Like, you actually need to be in the mansion itself for most of the map. So, like... while it's nice to have that portal, like, and I wouldn't take it away, I do feel like there needs to be another portal to kind of go into the central part of the mansion.
Yeah.
Which is where you're going to spend most of your time.
No, exactly. I totally agree. Like we said, it could definitely benefit from more fast travel uses. Like, one of the examples I used, I think, was Voyage, was it, with the portals? Like, something akin to that, I think, would have been... Or, like, the portals from Classified, not the 5 versions.
Yeah,
Classified.
the teleporters.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those could have worked quite well.
I feel like it would fit.
Yeah, it would, yeah. Thematically, it would feel like it would fit. I could see loads of places in that bunker area where you could put them, and they wouldn't look out of place.
Absolutely. Or even, I mean, like, I know that on the nursery side and Richtofen's room, like, there's that door that doesn't open unless you got power.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like the library side needs a similar thing, or at least you need like a door or some sort of corridor that connects from the front of the mansion to the back of the mansion where the elevator is.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Like, wouldn't it be cool, like, if there was a door, like, you know, the stairway where the T-Rex is?
Yeah.
And it goes down either side. Wouldn't it be cool, like, if there was, like, a panel that lifted up behind the T-Rex's feet that goes straight from the central lobby area into the, like, where the lift is?
Yeah, that would have been great. I'm trying to think, like... Because they're, like, pretty much, at least if my memory serves, almost right on top of each other, aren't they? So I could see that totally being feasible. Yeah, just a small change that would make getting to the elevator a bit quicker and stuff like that, I think would have done wonders for this map. But I don't
I think...
Oh, go on.
No, you first.
I was just going to say, I don't dislike the flow. I don't hate it. It's just it could just be a bit slow. It's got the same, for me, it rings like Origins, where it just takes a long time to get anywhere on foot, and there isn't really a lot of fast travel options in between other than the tank, for example, or the when the portals are closed. When I say Origins, like at the start of the match, when you have to run back and forth, left and right, all over the place to open all these portals, and it just takes forever. Yeah, but like I said, I don't think it's egregious or anything like that, like Blood of the Dead.
Or even Mob. I'd say Mob of the Dead is, while it's a great map, I'm probably going to get lynched for saying this, Mob loses big points in my mind for the only fast travel being the gondola.
Aye, well there goes any chance of those extra subscribers.
Sorry. No, I mean, this is, for me, like, this is what I was saying to you the other day, like, for me, one of my criteria for what makes a map good or not, amongst other criteria, but, like, one of the criteria is how good is the traversal of the map and the fast travel. And I think if a map doesn't have good fast travel, then it does lose points in my mind. So like this map would lose points on fast travel.
Yeah.
Something like Mob of the Dead loses points for having while it only has one fast travel, like the gondola.
Yeah, yeah.
Similar to this map, it's not really in an ideal location where I'm going to be spending most of my time. But Mob of the Dead also has the other downfall of not having stamina up.
Yeah.
At least this map does actually have stamina up, so
That's true.
and
Yeah.
PhD. So there is a way of kind of running around the map quickly, but it does lose points for not having a fast travel that I would necessarily use as much.
Absolutely. I've just had a thought, actually, going off topic slightly.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking maybe for future episodes, like maybe with Black Ops 1 or something, maybe we could break these big topics we're doing, like the mechanics, gameplay, and all that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe we could, like, rate them at the end, like, out of 10 or something, like each category. Or something like that.
Sure. You're gonna have to outside of podcast. You're gonna have to explain to me a bit more what you mean by that. But
all right, we'll do.
Yeah, I'm willing to explore that. Cool. Just kind of touching on something I wrote into the document. I do like that the map is kind of broken into 3 portions. So you've got the garden, the mansion, and the underground facility. I think that's a nice kind of breakup of the map if you think about it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
What would you say is your favourite area?
Ooh, probably, and this might sound strange, but I do really take to the underground facility. It could just be that that's where my training spot is with the Wonderwolf. So I'm kind of biased because I do like camping in there, but I don't know, ever since we got to that room with the armory and the portal, there's been something about that room that always keeps me coming back. There's nothing special about it. I couldn't give you a reason as to why I like that room so much. I just do. There's just something about it
that's fair.
That brings me back to that area. Like I say, even on our first playthrough, I was, for some reason, like constantly trying to get that room to work in a train. But yeah, what about you?
Honestly, I'm gravitating more towards the gardens, to be honest with you. I really like the spawn in terms for training, which I know that could be considered biased, but I think if that's how I'm going to play the map, I'd probably go either at the spawn or the Stonehenge looking area.
Oh, yeah. I do like the visual design.
I do really like...
of that area.
Mm-hmm.
What we said.
I was going to say, though, I do really like the T-Rex room as well.
Yeah, the lobby's great. Especially, it's a good training spot as well. At least until the Disciple shows up.
Absolutely. But even then, I think it's manageable in that area.
True.
There's a lot of open areas in this map. Even the area where the lift is relatively open.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I was kind of getting into before when I said about how much more accessible this one feels. I felt like the tomb could be a bit, cramped at points, but I don't feel like that's an issue with this one so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Like again, going back to kind of my criteria, one of the things I think of is, while I don't play with a full lobby of players, like 4 players, I do think to myself when I'm looking around a map, is there a place where each player could be without kind of tripping over each other's toes?
Yeah.
And I think this map definitely kind of serves that purpose. Like you got your spawn, you got your Stonehenge area, you've got Sam's room, you've got that room, the armory room. Like there's so many kind of different areas. So
yeah,
I think like 4 players could quite easily like play quite comfortably without kind of like screwing each other over.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. There's, like you said, there's definitely a lot of open space. It's kind of like, I think that my best example for maps that didn't do that so well was like, if you remember us trying to do the boss fight for Zombies in Spaceland on Infinite Warfare, where there's just nearly no room for any more than 2 players to do a fight in that area. It was just too cramped. I know that's a boss fight, the rest of the map was fine, but it's always been my kind of contentious point for a map. It's always like an occasion where they want you to, run zombies around, but there's just not enough room. That's always kind of been my big standout moment for which, like the only time it didn't really work. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. So, you want to move on to the disciple?
Yeah. Might as well talk about like the enemies introduced, both the disciple and the toxic zombies.
I quite like the disciple. I like the idea of it being a main boss now instead of just a mini boss that shows up every now and then like it did in Cold War. I feel like he's definitely a lot more threatening in this game. I've always found myself popping Ether Shroud when he shows up, or throwing a Casimir or something like that, because it's just almost too much to deal with mid-round, unless you've got like an assault rifle or something. God forbid you're camo grinding, because he is a nightmare if you're using anything other than an assault rifle or something like that.
Well, I can speak from experience there. I was using the KSV SMG, and the amount of times before I got to triple pap with it and legendary, the amount of times I was running to you to kind of come and deal with the disciple because you had the Mark II.
Oh yeah. Was that on that previous Easter egg run?
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely are a bit beefy. I like the redesign of them as well.
Yeah.
They look really quite intimidating.
Is that how they look in campaign? As someone who hasn't beaten it yet?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't remember. They only appear like for a short section in campaign, but I think so. I don't think they have all the kind of alchemy symbols floating around them though.
Alright.
I think that's just for zombies, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's a fresh new take on an older enemy. Like, I like the fact that they have that scream attack that kind of like disorients your vision a little bit. It's one of the few times I've actually found that effective, despite complaining about it last episode. With the Nova
Very
Crawlers.
Shrieker zombie-esque, isn't it?
Yeah. Because, like, when you're dealing with them, you're typically, aiming for the head and you're locking on. And I feel like the fact that you're going for headshots, them having that visual impairment actually does work to its advantage this time. Because it's a counter to you dealing massive damage, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Beyond those, though, the toxic zombies, I quite like them. It's nice to have an intimidating mini-boss again. Most of them for the last couple of games have been pretty tame, and they kind of show up, you deal with them, and it's done. But with this game, they've been this game in general, to be honest, they've, at least since they started patching it, like the mini bosses, like even the vermin and that, have been really quite problematic at times to deal with, and I quite like that. It kind of takes me back to World at War with the Hellhounds on Deriz, where they used to be an absolute nightmare.
The Hellhounds on World at War still scare me to this day.
Yeah.
Do you? So, obviously, the Doppelgast is a very new enemy that they've introduced in this game.
Yeah.
While most other enemies have kind of been reskins or kind of reintroductions. I think the spiders are new as well, aren't they?
I believe so, yeah.
So, do you consider the toxic zombies like new, or are you like me and consider them redesigned? What, the ones from Tormentors? That's it.
Oh yeah, the Tormentors. I think visually they're basically the poison zombies from Chaos, but they play like Tormentors.
Yeah.
They're kind of like a blend of both, but I don't know. I feel like the idea for them, it kind of works. I like the fact that, like, we talked about it last night actually when we were doing the Easter egg run, about how one of the big like boons that it has for me is the fact that they don't explode, which I think is a big game changer for them, because they only explode after being shot, so you can tactically decide where you're gonna destroy them before, so you don't get yourself trapped in corners. And I don't know, I appreciate little details like that.
Though if you're anything like me, you hoard up a bunch of them, get them in a confined space, and accidentally shoot them when they wander off, and it turns into like D-Day with the amount of explosions going around you.
Yeah, pretty much. It is possible to deal with them with the Wonder Wolf, but I know what you mean. It can be very risky.
Yeah, you just need to do it in an open area.
Exactly. Do you have anything else to add to that then, or do you want to move on?
No. Let's talk about the wonder weapons.
Alright, just while I try to figure out how to open this comment I made on my phone, do you want to make a start on this one?
Sure. So, like I said earlier, we got completely blindsided by the fact that the Mark II came back. And it's actually the main wonder weapon in this game. So, to be honest with you, I've only used it once. You've definitely used it a lot more than I have. But we got like over the course of the Easter egg, we get like 3 versions of it. So we got the yellow version, which is the rock blight.
Oh, you've had it before.
We got the preservation, which.
No,
I got it on my laptop, so I can pull it up. We got the preservation, which is the purple version. Is that the shotgun variant?
Yes, yeah.
And then we got the Wraithfire, which is the blue version. So I'll let you kind of take over here because you've had more experience with these than I have.
I personally like all 3. I think all 3 offer different complement different play styles. Like, if you prefer to go in, like, and use the ray gun like an assault rifle, you're probably better off with the Wraithfire one. If you like to take your time, take it a bit slow, you can always use the rock blight version, and because it's like a pool of acid, isn't it, that activates on occasion. But I feel like they're all very situational, because you've also got the shotgun one, which I feel is like the middle ground, you know what I mean? I feel like 2 of them are 2 extremes. Yeah. And then you've got the shotgun one in the middle that kind of does a bit of both. You know what I mean? It does like the high damage, but it also cuts through enemies quite quickly. So, yeah, so my personal favourite is probably the Rock Blight version, which wasn't the case to start with. I think Wraithfire is statistically the best version. I believe you liked that version, didn't you? The blue one?
For the brief moment I used it, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely the most assault-heavy variety that we have. I just, like I say, I kind of fell for it because it's great at dispatching huge mobs. So it's great for just like high round play or general play. I wouldn't recommend it for the boss fight if you're doing an Easter egg run, but I would definitely say it's worth.
Is that the Rock Blight version?
Yeah. At first, I was like, when we first used it, I wasn't too keen on it. It was definitely one of those had to try it again sort of guns. And once you know the map a bit better, it obviously gets easier to know where and when to use it. But yeah, I think all 3 of them, like I say, are all good in their own way. There's obviously ones that are better than others, but that's true of any wonder weapon at this point. Every wonder weapon's had cases. I would say like the shotgun variant's probably the weakest, but even then, it's by no means bad. It's still easy enough to use and still does a lot of damage. So I don't know. It's just a case of whichever one you prefer and whichever one suits your play style, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have anything to add to that?
I mean, yeah, I've got a couple of things kind of mulling over my head. So, firstly, do you think there was 3 was always the intentional kind of number for the variants, or do you think they were meant to have a 4th one? Because 3 just seems a bit like a bit of an odd number, really.
It does,
for variants. We use, especially when you consider there was 4 in Alpha Omega.
No, I totally agree. I do think there was probably one that was left on the cutting room floor. Who knows, though? It's kind of hard to say. Maybe they did have another one, but it just didn't hold up, so they decided to cut it. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Kind of on a similar train of thought, I do wish that, while I like the variants and the options for the variants, I do wish there was a way to revert it back to the original Mark II.
Yeah.
and that could have kind of been your fourth variant, just the basic variant.
True.
But it's a bit of a shame that there's not a way to kind of make it the normal Mark II again.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think one of the big sticking points for us was we thought initially when doing the Easter egg hunt that you had to destroy the plants to get the seeds with the ray gun regular variant. So we were desperately scrounging for a way to reset it, but there isn't one. It just turns out you can use Molotovs or any grenade really,
or just any explosives.
Yeah. But no, I totally agree.
Do you think?
Oh, go on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No. I'll let you finish.
I was just gonna say I totally agree that I do think that you should be able to reset it to the base variant. Could you do that in Alpha
Even
Omega?
if you go to the armory, I think you could.
I'm just wondering because I know there's four of them in that cabinet, but I feel like if you upgrade all of them, you can't get the default one back. I could be wrong though.
Maybe. Well, I mean, speaking of, so it seems I'm hoping that someone might have heard our conversation about like the staffs that like on the team. Like it would be cool if on the team you could kind of have a base staff and then upgrade it into the different variants.
Yeah.
So it's just not. It isn't just the ice staff, but like if you did another kind of little quest, you could upgrade it to the lightning staff or something. So maybe someone at Treyarch heard our conversation and applied it to this.
I mean, I'll take it.
But do you think it would have been nice to maybe have it so that other players could have gotten a ray gun?
I feel like it's kind of designed that way, isn't it? Everything about it screams like there should be more ray guns in this map. I'm not like it kind of like. I mean, I haven't been on the receiving end of it so much because of the strategy we used like the other night with the pistols and that. But I can't imagine it's particularly fun watching someone else get 3 upgrades for their ray gun while you're running around with nothing else except an assault rifle.
Yeah,
I can imagine that's a bit disheartening. Even if you get the Wonder Waff at the end, but even then, that only covers 2 of your 4 players if you're playing a full lobby. So I do think it would have maybe benefited from having another one, but I suppose there is another one in the box. So there is one on the table.
What, Mark II?
Yeah, I believe there's another one in the box. So you can get another one. I think. I'll have to fact check that. I'm pretty sure though.
I mean, if that's true, then in theory, every player could have a wonder weapon. But I think, like Alpha Omega, kind of set the precedent that every player could have a Mark II and a variant. So I just think that would have been probably nice to have had in this one.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I would have really loved if we could both run around with ray guns for the boss fight. That would have been great.
I was going to say though, it probably would have made the boss fight extremely broken though.
True.
I do wonder how balancing might have affected that.
That's a fair point.
So I can kind of see, but like in an ideal world, it would be nice.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Do you want to move on to the Wonder Waff?
Sure. I'm glad it's. This was the one that I was expecting to be the main Wonder Weapon, but
yeah.
It took us a while to find, didn't it?
It really did, yeah. It wasn't quite as, what's the word I'm looking for? Front and center, I guess, as the previous side quests for Wonder Weapons. This one's very out of the way, and it's very optional. You know what I mean? It's not one you have to do to complete the Easter egg, like with most of the previous Wonder Weapons. I don't know if we want to go into this now or whether we want to do it in the Easter egg section. Like the whole, unlocking it quest and whatnot. Because,
I mean, we can mention it here. Because it's not really a main Easter egg, it's actually a side Easter egg that you do to get it.
Yeah, true. I wasn't really a huge fan of the unlock process for it. As you know. We've ended up cheesing it in our last couple of playthroughs because, for those who don't know, if you use them, they basically are a couple of wisps that you have to shoot at, but they take crazy amounts of damage with basically any weapon in the game, with the exception of like the GS45s or I think it's Sally and Forth, is it? It's called in Black Ops 6, something like
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah, like, and it kind of explosive damage does kind of chew through it,
It
which
really
I was really
does.
surprised at last night when we did it. Like how quickly you were getting through the through the wisps, and you were like, "Yeah, Wonder Wolf's ready for you."
Oh yeah. Honestly, if it wasn't for people discovering that, I would have probably never bothered with the Wonderwolf, because it was just I really don't enjoy that whole side quest, because, like I say, they're just bullet sponges and they chew through your ammo, and you have to do it like 3 times with each one, getting progressively more difficult to take down. Yeah, it's not it's not the best weapon unlock quest that we've had in zombies, but it's doable. Like I say, if you take in dual explosive pistols, you'll have a really easy time getting it, and that's how I would recommend you do it. You can do it with the War Machine.
I mean, you don't even need to take in.
Oh, go on.
Yeah. I was going to say, you don't even need to take the G45s as your loadout weapon. You can just buy one off the wall and spawn.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I guess it just depends if you're taking the ray gun as well, which you're probably going to need if you're on solo. I guess it's up to you, really.
I mean...
Oh, go on.
Yeah, and while as much of a pain as it is to unlock, it is worth unlocking, because it is a hell of fun to use.
Yeah. I was going to say, I wanted to get the negative stuff out of the way first with that quest, because the actual weapon is so much fun to use, and I highly recommend people get it, despite the headache. Again, take the pistols for it, for sure.
It definitely kind of like shines in this game. I don't know if I go as far as to say it's better than like the Black Ops 1 or World at War variants or versions, but it really is good. And I was really confused about how it would work trying to pack-a-punch it, but understanding that when you pack-a-punch it, it basically stuns and kills zombies quicker, like really makes it work a lot better as well.
Yeah, it just chains a lot faster, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it certainly made our life, at least in my experience, it made my life in the boss fight easier, because it was just a crowd clearer.
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely one to have for the boss fight, for sure. I was going to say, one thing it does have for me over the Black Ops 1 version is the fact that it's not necessarily a Wonderwolf buff so much, but just the way that Black Ops 6 works, and the fact that you can pick up ammo. It's crazy that you can just run around and scoop up ammo for the Wonderwolf while just killing zombies regularly. So you can effectively keep going forever. Like I say, I played until I think it was around 65, something like that, and I didn't run out of ammo in the Wonderwolf once, because you could just keep picking it up off the ground. It was crazy. Again, highly recommended. If you've not used it before, or if this is even your first time with the weapon, again, I highly, highly recommend getting it.
It's crazy to think, like, for a lot of players who probably never played, like, Black Ops 1, 2, or World at War, or even Black Ops 3, like, this might be their first kind of proper round-based version of the Wonderwolf.
Exactly, yeah. It's so crazy to think about. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm being daft by reiterating all these things that I assume everybody knows, but, you know, like, World at War and that were, like, 15 years ago? Something like that at this point. So
15, 16 years.
It's like, it's just crazy to think about that there's people that haven't used it. But I'm glad people will get the chance. Absolutely glad that this will be their exposure to it, because it's at least for me personally, one of the best versions that we've had of the Wonderwolf. It really is.
Oh yeah, for real.
It really is great.
For real. Speaking of returning things, do we want to move on to the long-awaited return of Double Tap Root Beer?
Absolutely, yeah. I know you've got some strong feelings on this one, so I'll let you take this one on if you want.
I don't know if I'd say it's strong feelings. I'd say it's definitely the base version at the very least, and certainly the first few augments of it. It's kind of been nerfed a bit compared to like the original Double Tap 2.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, I really like the machine look. You and I were saying the other day, like, Treyarch are really knocking it out of the park with the redesigns for some of the old perk machines.
Oh yeah.
And this one's no exception.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I was finding, at least with, I was using it as SMG, which is, they're naturally bullet hoses anyway, so I was just finding that it kind of fell back into the old ballpark of the original double tap, of just chewing through my ammo in like a second.
Yeah. No, that's totally understandable.
Yeah, though some of the augments of it are nice, like, I'm not going to go through all of them, but like, where is it? Double hits on the same target in quick succession deal more damage.
Yeah, that's a solid one.
All non-critical all non-critical shots do double damage. Normal zombies have a chance to die if they're at low health immediately. So, yeah, like there are some augments on it that are nice, but like I must admit, like when I was considering what to take in for the boss fight, I was like, perhaps not double tap.
Yeah, no, I think that's totally fair. Like you say, coming out of the gate, all you get is basically double tap 1. It just speeds your firing rate up. There are augments that you can use, as you say, to kind of make it into double tap 2, but it's kind of like wish.com double tap 2. I kind of understand that
Absolutely.
the way this game's balanced doesn't lend itself to giving you more firepower because the gun's already balanced, you know what I mean, as if it's not an option, so they have to balance it back to make sure that it's not going to break the game in any way. But
Yeah.
I do get what you're saying. It can be a bit slow at the gate, but I feel like, as you say, once you get some of the augments, it can be it's definitely worth picking up, in my opinion. One of the big letdowns for it, as we spoke about, is that if you buy Deadshot, it doesn't stop the recoil that you will get from double taps. So it can make you aiming some weapons a total nightmare. I don't know if that's an oversight or a bug that they'll fix at a later date.
It might even be mitigated. I haven't actually given the Deadshot augments a look over in a while, so I don't know if there's a kind of anti-recoil version of in Deadshot.
Yeah, true.
Though, thinking about it, there probably isn't, because a lot of attachments now reduce recoil.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you could argue maybe it just
might be
it further. Something like that.
Maybe. But I was going to say, like, it might be a multiplayerization of zombies issue.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Personally, I enjoy using it. It's definitely one of the ones I buy, but that's just because maybe I'm impatient.
No, that's fair. Like, I don't hate it, but it's not something that I would consider an immediate priority to buy.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Like I say, I've always kind of been I've never disliked double tap 1 so much. I did always use it in World at War. But I do double tap 2 is obviously unquestionably better. There's no argument
for
on
real.
that. It's everything that does, but with double damage. So and I think the worst
I think double tap 1...
Oh, go on.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, like, I think double tap 1 was really bad in Black Ops 1 when ammo was an issue for most guns anyway.
Yeah, for sure. I think the worst augment going for this one is that one where you can either do double damage or 0 damage. I don't even know why anyone would pick that. It's like...
Yeah.
The thought of doing 0 damage just completely undercuts every other aspect that you gain from having it. You know what I mean?
It just kind of wastes bullets, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, and especially if you've got like I don't even quite know whether double tap 1 or double tap this version rather. See, I'm calling it double tap 1 now. Whether this version works on like semi-auto weapons or bolt action. I'm assuming it doesn't.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because I've often picked up snipers or something when I'm camo grinding and been like, can I buy double tap and will it work? I'm going to assume not. So
I know that in the Black Ops 1 and World at War version, like if you had a bolt action, it would just mean that you cycled the bolt quicker.
Oh, right, okay. Might be worth picking up then.
And if you had a semi-auto, it's basically I know this from like using the Mustang and Sally or the M1911. That semi-auto weapons, it basically removes the fire cap, so you can just basically fire as quick as you can spam your finger.
Alright, that's pretty cool. I did not know that.
That's what it does for... Yeah. So that's what it did for those guns. So I'm assuming it might be the same in this game for bolt action and semi-autos.
I'd certainly hope so. Alright, well, I don't think I've got anything else to add to that, unless you do.
No, I don't think so. Let's talk over the cast. So we've got the Sam, S-A-M, the robot, or the AI interface. Take that how you will. As a main feature, Richtofen is in this map, and he only really has a major appearance towards the end, and then we've got the return of our Terminus cast as usual, plus the usual stragglers.
I think it's a good choice of words, that stragglers.
I was counting. You and I were counting the other day. Like we were looking at over 10 cast members now. That have appeared or are in one map.
Exactly, and there's all these characters watching what we're doing. Like we've got Strauss, we've got Raptor One, we've got Ravenov, we've got Peck, and all this is all just going on at once. And I'm just sitting there wondering sometimes, like we talked about last night, why is some of them even here?
Yeah.
They haven't I like that Ravenov's in it. I just don't understand why he's following us around, but he's not actually actively doing anything. You know what I mean? He's just kind of there
for real.
To tell us what to do, I guess. It was kind of the same Oh, go on.
No, you first.
I was going to say it was kind of the same in The Tomb, wasn't it? Where he was just kind of gave us a bit of a dialogue here and there, but that was it.
Yeah, I think this game overall is kind of suffering from character bloat, and I think that's having a detrimental effect on the other cast, like the main cast. Cause, I made a joke in the ending cutscene for this map last night when we did it. Like Carver speaks, he's not mute.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah,
this
it's
is the
crazy.
first time since Terminus that he's actually said anything at all outside of general gameplay.
It was like a miracle moment. So, I think the stars had aligned in that cutscene.
I know. And I mean, obviously, introducing a character like Richtofen, he's totally going to steal the show. And he definitely did in this map. I think Maya and Gray just didn't say a single word of dialogue at all.
I found that really stunning, considering Gray's supposed to have these heavy links with Sam, yet she said nothing. Nothing. It's like
absolutely.
It's a bit. It's strange because all of the characters that we play as have quotes exclusively for this map. So I'm just wondering why they don't speak in the cutscene. Did they run out of time? Did they just choose? Yeah. Is it an artistic decision to not have them speak? You know what I mean? It's just strange. It just comes off as very jarring when the other characters are just standing at the back and nothing's really happening.
Yeah. I almost... I don't know if this is going to sound bad or not, but I almost feel like someone like Maya is almost surplus to requirement now.
Yeah.
Since killing Franco and kind of fulfilling her personal quest, she's not really needed. So you could have quite easily done Exo Zombies and replaced a main cast member for another one. Replacing her with someone like Peck, or again, even he's a bit surplus to requirement, but someone like Ravenov.
Yeah, exactly.
Would have probably fit better, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It feels like, as you say, after Citadel, Maya's just kind of tagging along for the sake of it.
Absolutely, and I'm saying this because, even though Maya is my favourite character to play as,
oh yeah, absolutely.
She, as great as she is, she really just is just there now. There's no reason for her to kind of be tagging along.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I would say Maya's probably one of the best written zombies characters we've had in in years. And it's just like you said, it's hardly used. After Citadel, it's just kind of it's just kind of, like I said, it's like you said, there's so many things going on, but none of them are really going anywhere. Like, I'm constantly, with Peck especially, I'm constantly sitting here thinking, is he going to stab us in the back when we solve this this issue that's presented in the ending? Is he going to sweep in at the last minute and screw everything up? Because why is he still here? He's serving no purpose in the story right now at all. He's just there.
He should have died in the Citadel intro cutscene.
There is a part of me that's thinking that there was at one point they planned on it, but then walked it back because he has done nothing since Terminus.
Yeah,
nothing. He's just been he's just been there to insult you when you're trying to solve Easter egg puzzles, and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just touching on Sam, I felt like, while she's no Julie, I felt the new kind of voice that they've got for her definitely had improved on this map. Yeah,
100%. Like, some of the quotes you get from her when you enter that room actually have gotten a laugh out of me once or twice on this map, which is a nice change of pace from always being like, here she is again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Though how again, I should probably preface this now for anyone who's listening. There are going to be like spoilers.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably a bit late. I should have mentioned this earlier, but yeah, there are going to be spoilers for this map. So
yeah, especially
if you haven't done it, then
I was just going to say, especially going to the next section, Easter eggs.
So if you haven't done the Easter egg from this point, probably tune out now and then come back to it this episode. But how obvious was it that Sam was just going to stab us in the back?
Absolutely. I've kind of like I would honestly make a bingo card that for like every Treyarch release, we're going to get stabbed in the back mid-season by somebody, because we always get stabbed in the back every season. I'm pretty sure probably has a betrayal. In fact, I'm tempted to tally that up, apart from World at War, but we won't count World at War because Black Ops 1's kind of an extension
World at War's
to
kind
World
of
at War.
like part of the exactly. So like Richtofen in World at War,
exactly.
Black Ops 2,
I guess
Richtofen and Maxis.
Yeah.
And Maxis, Black Ops 3, the Shadow Man in Shadows of Evil.
Aye.
And Monty?
Yeah, Monty to a degree.
Godfrey in
and
Chaos,
Shaw
and
Bruno in Ancient Evil.
Oh yeah, and Shaw and Bruno. Did anyone betray us in the Ether storyline?
What? Which one? Like
in Black Ops 4?
Black Ops 4.
In Black Ops 4. I don't think so.
I guess you could argue
Monty, but that was.
I guess you could argue Primus Richtofen in Blood of the Dead, but
True.
But that's a push.
Yeah, I'd say like you're probably right on the money there. Like someone does betray us at some point or another.
Aye,
it's pretty old hack right now.
Exactly, and just quickly going back to Black Ops 4, I suppose you could argue Victus got betrayed as well.
Yes. Yep, that's very true. It's very true. Yeah, no, it is pretty obvious that. I mean, to be honest with you, I was sus on Sam straight from Terminus.
Yeah, same here. Like, at first I thought she was going to be an exclusive to Terminus thing, but when she started popping up all over the place, I was like, yeah, we're being set up here.
Yep, absolutely.
She's like, we're bringing back Sam, and I'm like, yeah, sure.
Well, it's really from the kind of Liberty Falls intro cutscene that I was like, yeah, no, this chick's sus.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm really interested to see what they're gonna do with Richtofen.
Oh yeah, for sure. It would be nice to have a good version of the character, but I don't know if we'll get that this time. I guess you could argue the premise
based on the
to a degree.
True, and based on the end cutscene and like how they were setting them up at the end of Black Ops 4, like
Yeah.
Eddie was meant to be the kind of pure soul of Richtofen.
Yeah, exactly.
The uncorrupted one. So that's why I'm kind of really... I mean, at the end of the day, he's still a Richtofen, and like every Richtofen we've had so far has kind of been a bit
dodgy,
been a bit iffy. So yeah, exactly, a bit manipulative. So I'm interested to see where they're going to take him. I mean, as I said earlier, probably Nolan absolutely smashed the performance out of the park.
He really
as usual.
did. Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, though, it's a given at this point that Nolan North's going to knock it out the park. Yeah, he absolutely nailed it.
For real.
And I was just going back to what we were talking about before, real quick. I suppose that, like, in Cold War, there is that intel where Richtofen is torturing Sam, so I guess that isn't a particularly good reflection on his character.
Yeah, that's true, and it's precisely that's making me think, like, how good are you?
Exactly, yeah. I don't know if I believe he's going to stab us in the back, though. But, like you said, we'll get to that when we cover the next section.
I mean, he's laid his cards out on what his motives are.
Exactly.
Like, trying to bring his wife and child back from the dead. So, like, at this point, I don't have any kind of reason not to believe that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It seems like.
And one could argue the whole reason. And one could argue that the whole reason he was torturing Samantha anyway was because he was trying to get revenge on her for killing his family.
True.
Because while Weaver did the deed, he was doing it based on Sam's intel.
Yeah, absolutely. We never found out why there was a hit put on him, though, did we? They mentioned that in this map.
No, and again, I don't know if that's just something that's hidden behind the intel, so I'm probably going to have to go over the intel and have a look at that.
I know, I've been thinking about diving back into Cold War and gathering the rest of it just to see if I missed anything. But Cold War's such a big game with lots of intel to collect.
It's such a chore. Like, I've done a lot of the Cold War intel, but it is such a chore.
Yeah, 100%. Like I say, I gave up on it.
Especially when you got... Especially when you got the intel in the kind of cranked mode. It's not cranked. What is it?
Oh God.
Onslaught,
yeah. I don't mind that though. I don't mind playing Onslaught. I'm alright with that.
True. Right. I think we've spoken about cast quite a bit there. Unless you had anything else to add.
Maybe just touch slightly. Like I said, just going back to what we said earlier about how some of the characters I just don't know why they're still here. Like, I can't get over that. Like, it's just so odd that we still have these characters tagging along with us. It's mystifying. Like you said, one of the characters we did miss was Panos, who's completely vanished. And like I say, that was one of my predictions for this map, that we'd see him, but evidently not. I believe he appears in an audio log that we picked up, but that was about the extent of it.
I mean, he might appear in the next map.
By the way, I've just remembered something, and this map is an instant 0 out of 10. Do not play it. Blanchard doesn't make an appearance. I will not stand for this heresy.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this game is a big steaming pile of dog shit. Like, every map that does not feature Blanchard, so every map apart from Liberty Falls, is the worst map. Is like,
exactly.
It's not even F tier. It's like it's Z. No, it's not even Z tier. It's not even an alphabet number tier. Like, that's how bad it is.
I mean, he does get a note at the very least. He sends us a hint for a puzzle. But we'll be getting into that in a minute anyway, I'm sure.
Bah. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying about, like, why are some of these characters here, and I think it was going back to kind of what I was talking to you about last night, that I know they kind of had this in, like, World at War, Black Ops 1, and, even Black Ops 2, but like there doesn't seem to be any kind of character development through personal kind of quests or personal kind of quotes.
I agree.
In this game for any of the cast. I think the best we got was like Maya's Easter egg in Citadel.
Oh yeah. It's like we said back in that episode, like I do wish we had more stuff like that in some of these maps, like more, like you said, personal things. I don't know if it really fits into characters or cast, but just one thing that I was going to touch on is, in fact, no, I'll leave it to the Easter egg one. It's all good. Okay. It's technically cast.
Well, I mean, we can.
It's a bit of both.
I was gonna say, unless you've got like anything else to add on cast overall, we might as well move on to Easter egg stuff. So, like, fire away.
Yeah, I can do. Well, I'll just cover that first, then while I've still got it up here. It's as we said before, it's revealed that what's his name? Weaver. God, I can't believe I forgot his name. Weaver as I don't know if that's like a really bad sign, isn't it? And I'm like, what's his name again? I just couldn't quite believe that they forgave him so easily, despite having 6 years like trapped in prison because of Richtofen's actions.
They forgive Richtofen
too easily. Like I was talking to a friend about it earlier, and about how he scrawled his name onto a cell wall. Yeah, he's forgiven him over some, X Factor tier sub story. Do you know what I mean? I cannot get my head past that.
X Factor tier sub story.
I mean, it's not far off, is it?
No, that's... Oh, that's my new favourite thing.
But yeah, he's just come out here with this sub story, and all of a sudden, all the characters have, apart from Carver, with his like actual 3 lines of dialogue at the end of this cutscene, have seemingly forgiven him, apparently, or at least enough to work with him. And so I understand, the situation is dire, and they don't really have a choice. And I feel like that's more what's pushing what's happening, rather than them actually forgiving him. I don't know, I just found that...
Yeah.
I feel like they let it go too
kind
quickly.
Of like... Yeah, they're kind of putting survival instincts first. And now, to be fair... I get what you're saying. Like, on the one hand, like, Weaver did, like, scrawl Richtofen's name, or carve Richtofen's name in his cell.
Exactly.
And, like, Richtofen's basically been living in his head rent-free for the past, like, 6 years.
Exactly, yeah. He felt like he was at psychotic levels of hatred for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think... where they kind of failed was that, like, in the initial part of the cutscene where you first, like, meet Richtofen again, that they never really kind of made it a huge kind of gravitational moment of, like, effort for Weaver to kind of not kill him.
Exactly, yeah. It came so quickly.
And I think that's where they failed.
Yeah.
I can kind of let it slide that after they kind of get out of the liminal zone and the portrait that they didn't really have the time to kind of have a heart-to-heart and a breakdown. Like, all kind of shit was happening, and like after the like during the end cutscene as well. Like, it is very much of a case of like, at least Richtofen knows what is going on, so we're just gonna keep him around for now.
That's the impression I'm getting as well.
Like, I can understand that, and I can kind of understand, like, in a 2-minute cutscene, you're not going to have a huge heart-to-heart. I should hope that in the next map, there will be a level of kind of speaking with Richtofen and kind of breaking it down with him.
Yeah, I certainly hope so.
More than likely, he's probably just going to appear as a little portrait over the radio, and that's it.
That'll be it. You know it.
Thinking about it, like, how many, at least based on what we know, how many members are going to actually, like, cast members are going to be in the next map? So we've got our 4
Oh god.
usual cast members.
Potentially Panos.
We're going to have... Yeah, potentially Panos, but I'm not going to count them yet until I know it.
Yeah.
So we're going to have the 4 cast. We're going to have Strauss, Raptor1, Richtofen, Ravenov, and Peck. That's 9 characters.
Exactly. It's just too much.
Oh, and probably Sam. Like, Sam is definitely going to be a given, like, in the next map. So, like, 10 characters at least. At least. If you're throwing, like, Blanchard and Raptor1, you're looking at, like, plus 12.
Oh, God.
See what I mean about character bloat?
Absolutely, yeah. You never know, they might even bring back Strike Team from Cold War as well.
Oh, Christ, yeah. I forgot all about them.
It's like you say, it's like there's so many threads going all over the place, but none of them are going anywhere. I think the game would have been...
I really want to...
Oh, go on.
I was just going to say, like, I really want to know if... Oh, what's his name? The lead writer.
I'm not sure who's doing the lead writing at the minute, unless you mean Craig.
Yeah, I really want to know if Craig is still, like, the head of writing, or if someone else is, like, if he's gone and someone else has taken over. Like, this is it. Like, nobody... While we're getting all these blog posts... Okay, I mean, it's not a now kind of thing, but, like...
Alright.
Like, all of these kind of blog posts, while they're great, I really want to know, like, who's, like... There's no face of zombies anymore. And I think the mode does suffer for that a little bit.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, it kind of humanized it a bit more when you had someone to look at and be like, oh, this person's in charge.
Absolutely. And I think, while I had issues with Blundell, like, I think he and Craig worked so well together in crafting the story.
Oh, they really did. Yeah.
Black Ops 3 is definitely, like, the best, like, story we've ever had.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's like I say, I think there's... You know, there's good ideas there, but I just don't think it comes together very well. It feels, like I say, a bit all over the place at the minute. I feel like it's maybe... there's lacking direction, I guess, the phrase I'm looking for. At least as far as all the other, you know, external stuff is concerned. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Call of Duty's got its own kind of major issues going on anyway, so...
yeah, that's true.
But that's by the by. We've mentioned that plenty enough times. We don't need to kind of go into that now. Let's talk about the Easter egg. I'm going to take out the story implications because I feel like we've kind of spoken quite a bit about that now.
Yeah. Well, I'll just quickly close that out.
What did you think of the...
By saying that... Based on the ending cinematic, the last map is also going to be taking place in Liberty Falls at the nuclear reactor, which you can see in both versions, in both maps.
Yeah.
So that's going to be 3 maps in one location.
Yep, we're going to Richtofen Towers.
Exactly, yeah. So, actually, just while we're on this topic, one of the things we did talk about outside of this was whether this is going to be the last map coming out next, or whether we're going to keep seeing maps every season through till 6. Because I'm honestly not sure.
Yeah, I mean, part of me is, like, hoping that they're going to, like, they've set the precedent of, like, I mean, they kind of have set the precedent of expecting a new map each season.
Yeah, I would totally be down for having
and if there's
6
like,
maps. Additional maps, rather.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if there's 6 seasons, and that's going to be 6 additional maps, plus Liberty Falls and, what's it called?
Terminus.
So, yeah. So I'm hoping that there's going to be, like, more maps, but another part of me is, like, thinking, how are they going to do it? Like, it seems like we're kind of coming into land in terms of the story.
It
right
does,
now.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
And, like, they're setting up the next map to be the kind of finale. So I'm interested to see. I guess we'll see if we'll see if there's going to be another map in season 4.
I would assume so.
But, like, with assuming the next Call of Duty game releases in November or October, even if the next season does drop the last map, that's going to be a long old time without any kind of content, meaningful content for zombies.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like they'll do something for zombies, even if they do end the maps there. Like, we'll get, I don't know, a game mode or something here and there. But no, I truly do hope we get another couple maps. Because, like you say, I feel like there's... Like, while it's not the best story we've ever had in zombies, I do feel like there's potential. There are things in this story that I like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like a lot. But they just... It seems like, like I say, each time they come out with a new game, we do get problems like this, like story threads that go nowhere, characters that disappear and never come back, stuff that doesn't always make sense. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it's been quite as coherent as it could be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think
something we got to kind of...
Oh, go on.
Oh, no, you finish your thought first.
I was just going to say, I think another 2 maps could go a long way in maybe fleshing out the characters a little bit more and giving us a reason to care about them. And you could argue as well, like, I don't know if the knowledge that these characters die at some point kind of is taken away from this adventure a little bit. Because, you know...
This is what I was about to kind of go into, is that, like, I think we do need to kind of get to that position at some point where these characters end up.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they do at the end of the Modern Warfare zombies intro cutscene. So like they do die at some point, and I think for me at least, like that does kind of take away of like they're gonna end up dead anyway. So like, what's the point of getting invested in them?
Yeah. To be fair, I suppose at least one of them, Maya, isn't spoken for as far as the ending goes. So
That's true.
At least we have one character with an uncertain ending.
Yeah, and Richtofen isn't spoken for either.
True.
Thinking about it.
Or Sam, really.
But yeah, and like I don't know too much about this whole the story. I can't remember too much about the story of Modern Warfare Zombies. So like, I don't know how much of this is setting up Modern Warfare Zombies.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Modern Warfare follows on from this, or whether we're gonna expect another game with these characters before that happens, or whether we're going to get a new crew next time, or whatever's going to happen.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's definitely an odd one. This modern zombies.
Yeah, it really is. Like I said, there's things I like about it a lot, and I really wish they'd flesh those out a bit more. But I don't know. It feels like a bit confused at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, time is getting on, so let's talk about the Easter egg.
Right, I'll let you take point on this one.
Well, okay, so I think my initial kind of thoughts on the Easter egg is that, once again, it kind of follows that formula of building the Wonder Weapon and its various upgrades, and then moving on to kind of like the rest of the egg. And I think this egg is really, really short. I would argue that it's probably the shortest one in the game, not counting like Liberty Falls.
Yeah.
So I was going to kind of ask you, like, what do you think of this formula that they're kind of following of like getting and upgrading the Wonder Weapon and then doing a couple of like little bits and then boss fight? Like, that's the kind of formula it seems to be following.
Yeah. I don't have any strong feelings on it. I'm a big proponent of, if it isn't broken, don't fix it, and I think it's a formula that works. It's nice to, it's kind of reassuring to be able to jump into a map and be like, I'm at this point and I know we're near the end, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't say no to a bit of variety of them changing it up a little bit. Even in like I'm trying to think of a way they could, like one of the most unique Easter eggs we kind of had was like Mob of the Dead with the plane thing and all that, and that was really different. And I would like to see something like that again, maybe. You know, just something that's, as you say, just a bit not quite your standard Easter egg affair. They do feel a bit copy paste. I do totally agree with your sentiment on that. But I have been enjoying them.
Yeah.
I can't say that I haven't enjoyed doing any of these, apart from the boss fight on the tomb being the only sore spot so far. The formula works for me personally. I'm satisfied with it, but I do understand that they've done it over and over and over again, so it can get a bit redundant. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the camp that I'm kind of gradually falling into now. It's like each map, this is probably why this map is so mixed for me. Is that every kind of beat on this map was so predictable, even down to how the formula of the egg is run.
Oh yeah.
I knew from the moment we loaded up that we would need to get a wonder weapon first, and then focus on the Easter egg.
Yeah.
Upgrade and then focus. Then it was a case of the other pieces fall into place, and I feel like the latter part, especially when you got wonder weapons that have multiple kind of variants.
Yeah.
I think the latter part of the Easter egg, the latter half of the Easter egg, where you're doing the rituals. There isn't a lot of kind of brain power that goes behind them. All you do is get a bell, turn the zombie into brain rot, and then you got that ritual item. Another one is just finding some stuff around for with Ether Shroud, or filling up 3 chalices. It's there was nothing.
I love how much
fetching something.
You trivialised that the idea of finding that bell. Considering the headache it caused us on Alpha.
Yeah, but once you know where it is, and the same with the kind of Ether Shroud items, once you know where they are and what you're doing,
but they moved,
it is really trivial. I'd say the most unique part. Sorry?
Saying, but they moved, aren't they? The Ether Shroud items, anyway.
I know, but even so, once you know where all the items are, there's no, I don't know, it just feels like the egg usually comes down to getting a wonder weapon in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
The second half is doing, fetching something, or 3 things, and putting them into, a ritual place.
Yeah.
And then you're at the boss fight, and I don't know. That's the formula it's kind of fallen into in this game. There's nothing. Whereas in our Ancient Evil, when you kind of have your spotlights, where is that? Where is the ice breaking step in Voyage? Whereas the spider mid-boss fight, in Jetsubo, what in these past few maps, have been absolutely standout, unique moments? And this is what I'm saying, there's no kind of wow factor for me other than maybe the Z-Rex fight. But even then, that's not my favourite boss fight, other than design.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, that's fair.
Sorry, I went off on a bit of a rant there.
No, it's all good. No, I think you've got a point. They are kind of very boilerplate at times.
Mm-hmm. I just feel I would like a bit more, maybe, have those kind of that second half of the egg where you kind of get items and drop them into place, but throw a curveball at me. Make it so that after I do the second ritual, I have to fight some sort of big, steroid mangler or something, or I had to had to kind of stop a bomb from going off in a. I know, but it's that's probably bad. Make it so that I have to kind of stop Sam or Richtofen from blowing up a portion of the map or something, so it takes it out for a couple of rounds. Give me something that breaks the formula and throws a curveball at me.
No, I think that's totally fair. Like you say, it can lose the excitement a bit when you've got so many maps that are very formulaic, I believe is the word. Yeah, no, I think that's a fair thing to ask. I'm not sure exactly how they could go about it. Like I say, I know. It's not something that bothers me so much, so it's kind of hard for me to have much input on what I think they should add to sort that. I don't know. It's a difficult one.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it bothers me to an extent. Well, I know. I'm saying that after just having ranted about it for like 5 minutes, but it's just I want something a bit more exciting. I want something that makes me go, "Whoa, this is different." And
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to. Like, while it doesn't bother me, just give me something that like I'm not expecting.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I think. I will say though, maybe in some ways, be careful what you wish for, or we might get steps like the puzzles on Descent or the drunk puzzle on Carrier.
Oh yeah, no, nothing miserable like that. But like, I mean, I would say like Voyage is probably one of my favorite Easter eggs, because you've got that kind of element of fetching items when you're doing the rituals, like for the 4 elementals.
Yeah.
But then you got something unique like the moon, not the moon step, the planet step. Like that was so cool, and like I would remember something like that far more than shooting some portraits with a ray gun and going to get a ritual item.
Yeah. No, I think that's totally fair. You can't discount Mrs. Pearson.
Oh yeah. That's your main takeaway from this whole map, is just that portrait that goes, Mrs. Pearson.
I don't know what it is, but there's just something about the way he says it that just cracks me up. But yeah,
I've ranted quite a bit about the main Easter egg. Like, do you have anything else you want to kind of add?
I was just going to quickly mention about that we did figure this one out like we did with the previous ones. And it was a relatively smooth experience this time, wasn't it? Aside from a few hiccups that we ran into here and there.
We got close.
Yeah, we got extremely close with that. Was it the bell that we were about to give up on before we realised you had to break the glass? Because you picked it up.
I thought it was the ether shroud stuff.
It might have been both, but we didn't do
Maybe.
it. We got very close though. I believe, as you said, the only one we've googled so far was Terminus with the key card, which we couldn't find it after the Nathan boss fight. But no, I quite enjoyed figuring this one out. I feel like once we got past the bell, we pretty much had it, more or less.
Yeah.
It didn't take us long
absolutely.
after. Oh, go on.
No, I was going to say, like, I think there was, like, once we figured out things, like, I was saying to you yesterday, like, one of my favourite things to do when doing Easter eggs now is, like, once I know what to do, is, like, optimising them. And I think we optimised that quite well.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, I think the earliest I had it done when I was playing it earlier, we got it done by, like, around 16, something like that. The big issue, though, is the setup process to get ready for the boss fight is astronomical, and it can probably take you to, like, what, round 30 or something, I believe it was we did it in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now that we're kind of speaking about it, like, what did you think of the C-Rex fight?
Well, you know how I felt about it at first. I hated the idea of this boss fight. I thought the idea of a T-Rex was so goofy and so silly. I just didn't like it. But I feel like they played it in their favour. The whole cutscene where it appears is absolute cinema, as they say.
Getting with the kids there.
Absolutely. Showing my age with that one.
Aye.
But yeah, no, it was. I quite enjoy the boss fight. I enjoy the first 2 phases a lot. The second 2, I feel, can be a bit cheap at times, and it feels like you'll just end up going down constantly if you get caught. But if you're playing with more than one person, it's not too hard to get through, is it? Really, chopper gunners especially.
No,
I mean, we managed it on our second try, didn't we? So it's not.
I still haven't forgiven you on the first try where you said you were using me as bait.
To be fair, it's just because my aim is that shit. As you'll probably see in the footage, I'll try and line it up. I need to have like 5 minutes to be able to get my aim down so I can shoot at it. But yeah, no, I enjoyed the boss fight quite a lot. I thought it was definitely a huge step up from the Tomb, 100%. It's like one of the things you said when we did it was the boss in this one is actually present, which is something that was like really missing from the Tomb's boss fight. So I'm glad we had a proper boss this time around. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty solid boss fight. I'd say if I had to put it anywhere in the list of boss fights we've had so far, I'd probably put it third, something like that.
That's a pretty comfortable place.
I think Terminus is probably the best one. But that's just me. I love the whole... we talked about it last night, like the whole Cthulhu body horror thing. I love the design of the boss and everything. I think it's great. And then it's probably the Guardian. And then T-Rex, for me, I think. Central Fact, you don't even need to guess. I mean... don't need to guess where that one goes.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you. Like, this is a pretty solid boss fight, and like, I know you were really hating the concept of it before we actually went into it, but like, here's me kind of like, I'm really trying to kind of like hammer into you. Like, we fought dragons, we fought giant spiders, we fought blooming like eyes and zombie elephants. Like, how is this like? How is this the line that you draw in terms of boss fights?
I don't know. I guess it just reminds me of I don't know, like Tomb Raider or something, where like, you know, something very cheesy, very 90s. It was the whole T-Rex thing.
No, I get it. I mean, I was excited as soon as I saw it on the kind of like soundtrack. I was either thinking we're gonna fight either the T-Rex because it was so like central to like in the map and so obvious placed, or we were gonna end up fighting Sam. And then the kind of and also I kind of concluded from the description that it was going to be the T-Rex because you fight. It says to fight a tyrant, and well, I'm not going to go into the nerdy stuff there, but so I was really excited to actually fight a T-Rex.
I genuinely felt
it
bad.
Was so cool, and then
like after a couple of hours, I was like, "Shit, I probably crushed your excitement for it by being such a moody arsehole about it."
Oh no! I was going to be excited regardless. Like, I love T-Rexes, and yeah, I think the boss fight was pretty good. I wouldn't say it's my favourite. I think I'd place it like third, like you.
Yeah.
And have like Terminus and the Guardian fight before that.
Yeah. Like I say, if it didn't have that,
I think
that fourth phase thing with where it could just ram you and stun lock you to death, I'd be alright with it. If they patch that, I could maybe move it higher. If they make that a bit less obnoxious.
Yeah. No. Absolutely, and I don't know if it's just a skill issue on my part, but I just felt like I was in its mouth the whole time. He was just completely chewing me a new one in phases 3 and 4.
That's what I'm saying. Once you get to the part where it's running, he's always directly behind you, and you're always taking massive damage and getting flung forward and taking more damage as you take like a second to be able to move again. Like
more often than not, I found myself being like thrown forward into like a pile of gas, so I couldn't even recover before he was back on me anyway. So
that's what I'm saying.
It
felt ironically like that scene in Jurassic Park where Jeff Goldblum's running around with the flare. That's what it felt. That's what it feels like. You have to have one person running around like, "Come after me," while everyone else shoots at it.
Yeah, and you and I both said like it was so cool that it sounded like the one from Jurassic Park.
It does, yeah. I would not be surprised if they just nicked the soundbite, to be honest.
It would, same. It's like, I definitely found like a few moments where like I just felt like I was like getting soft locked because as I said, it was like chewing me, throwing me forward into gas, and then the moment I got out of the gas because it slowed you down, it was back on me again. Again, I don't know if that's just because of a skill issue on my part, but
I wouldn't say
I
so,
definitely
no.
struggled towards the latter part.
No, I felt that way about it as well. Like I said, both times that I ended up doing it yesterday, because I did it with a friend before we did it, I ran into the same problem. We were both dropping like flies in those last two phases, and it was just pure luck that we happened to use the chopper gun as efficiently enough to make it possible without actually conking out at the end. But it got very close on both counts. I think one change they could make is once it rams you, it should stop for a second. You know what I mean? Like, it should have to stop and recover for like a second before it can move again, just to make it so you have a chance to get back out of there before you get attacked again. But otherwise, yeah, I thought it was
for real.
I thought it was great. I really liked it. It felt more in line with the previous fights that we'd had before the Sentinel artifact. So I'm totally on board for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is kind of what I was saying to you yesterday. Like, the Sentinel artifact boss fight was misery. Honestly, I hate that boss fight so much. And it, like I was saying to you yesterday, like, a good boss for me kind of has two kind of criteria.
Yeah.
And like, does it have presence and is it engaging? And I would argue that this kind of the T-Rex definitely is like present. And what I mean by that, sorry, words is getting ahead of brain here. Or brain is getting ahead of words. Yeah, the Z-Rex fight definitely has both presence and engagement. And
Absolutely,
what I mean by that is, like, when I mean presence, I mean like something along the lines of like the Nikolai fight, or the Nidhogg fight in Voyage, or even the elephants.
Or Mephistopheles. He definitely had presence.
Or Mephistopheles, yeah. Like, am I constantly going to be aware of the boss? Like, is that an ever-present threat that I need to kind of keep in the back of my mind? Something that isn't present, or doesn't have that presence, is like the Sentinel artifact. I would argue Takeo from Zetsubo isn't very present.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of where that's the presence criteria, and I think the Z-Rex definitely has that. Like, it's very much in your face, like, I got to be aware of this. And then the other criteria of like what I mean by engagement is, like, does the boss fight, or does it rely on its minions more?
I feel like there's a good balance
again
with this one.
Absolutely. Like, the Z-Rex definitely does do a lot of the kind of engagement of fighting itself, but it does also have, like, and I do expect some minions to be there, but like, take something like the Sentinel artifact, that purely relies on its minions to kind of do the job for it.
Absolutely.
Another kind of example of like a boss getting minions to do things for it is like the Shadow Man. Like, they don't. The boss doesn't attack you. And I know that the Sentinel artifact has lasers, and that's all but that's all it does. It doesn't actively. The lasers are only there if they're a environmental hazard. They don't target you. It's not like in Hollow Knight where the final boss on that uses lasers to actually target you.
Absolutely.
Like an actual engaging boss fight would be something like Z-Rex or the Guardian, or even, again, Nikolai. Like, something, a boss that actually attacks you. So I think this boss definitely fulfills that criteria.
100%. It is so much fun, like, just when you're running together and you know it's coming up behind you and all the freaking out. It's getting closer. That was definitely one of my favourite aspects of that boss fight. Like, oh, it's right there.
It's, again, like, throwing it back to Jurassic Park. It's like that scene where the T-Rex is chasing them in the Jeep and you can see it in the mirror.
Exactly like that. Is that the one where it's like things are bigger than they appear?
Absolutely.
Or closer than they appear, rather.
I wouldn't say it's as good as the Terminus or Citadel boss fights, but it definitely is a really, really solid boss fight. I think I could just do with some of the like the stun lock being removed a bit or mitigated.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. For me, if they removed that, this boss fight would be perfect, or almost perfect. It would be. It would certainly be. There's just never anything fun about being stun locked to death. I never find
for
that like a good game design mechanic. It's kind of like going back to Sentinel Artifact when the lasers would touch you, or the corrupted boss, and you would freeze on the spot, and it was always just obnoxious. You know what I mean? It never felt like it was. You could get out of it, at least before the patch. I know they've reduced the stun time now, so it's not as bad, but it was for a while. It was pretty punishing if you got hit by it, wasn't it? It could down you, and like, didn't it down you when we first did the tomb, like right at the start of the boss or something like that?
Yeah,
because the laser just hit you immediately.
I mean, to be fair, I was doing something stupid. I was trying to I was getting the max ammo, and I was thinking, oh, I could just hang here for a second, and then I just got full on laser to the face.
Fair enough.
So to be fair, like that fight was kind of like my fault.
Yeah. It's just got me thinking, actually. Like, I do hope, again, with this boss fight being a thing, I'm gonna vouch again to Treyarch. Please add a boss rush mode. Please. Even if it has the Sentinel Artifact in it, I just want a boss rush mode in this game. Because I enjoy doing them, and I wish we had a quick access way to just do them without all the other busy work. It was one of the best features that IW had, was the boss rush mode. It was such a cool idea.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I think we've kind of walked ourselves into doing a Jurassic Park series review now because of this map. So
stay tuned. Oh, I mean, the only thing that puts this boss fight into an F tier for me is the fact that it doesn't have the Jurassic Park main theme.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I want my money back.
Absolutely, yeah. You're right. I don't know why we were dropping all this praise.
Yeah, that's very true. Do you want to briefly touch over the two side Easter eggs that we found aside from the Wonderwolf?
Yeah,
I think
can
we've gone
do.
into enough about that, but the other two.
Yeah, so one of the ones we found, assuming that people who are watching have done them, was the Mr. Peaks Easter egg, where you collect the 6 parts, like in Mauer de Toten, and it gives you brain-rotted, is it vermin? Which can
it's
also...
a vermin at first, and then...
Yeah, the more kills you get,
it
mutates into bigger enemies up until the Doppelgast, I think. I've never seen it go higher than that.
No, I think that's as far as it goes.
And it's called Donut.
Looking at the zombie sub... Yeah.
I fucking love it. It's called Donut. Donut's my favourite aspect of this map.
Like, the Donut just puts the map into S+ tier.
It really does, yeah. We're going to have to remember that when we get round to ranking Black Ops 6. Shattered Veil is S tier.
I was going to say, because, once Black Ops 6, the season is finished, do you want to just, do the ranking for those maps? Being as we've kind of covered them as we've been going?
Yeah, sure. We can always just, I don't know if you want to do it at the end of Black Ops 1, assuming that the season's finished by then, which I assume it will be. By the time we get to all the Black Ops 1 maps.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, we'll see where this season finishes and where we're at, but we'll probably rank the Black Ops 6 maps on. Oh,
I do it alongside the game that we're on at the time, like Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, whatever it turns out to be. I'm assuming it'll be Black Ops 1 though, because it's going to take us what?
That's a lot of maps.
It's going to take us 3 months or something to get through all those.
Probably. Just to briefly touch, go back onto the side Easter eggs, just briefly touch on the other one that we found, which was purely by accident, and I would argue on my part. I
was about to say,
ADHD.
I wanted you
fixation.
to take a point on this one, because this one was all you.
It's the free perk Easter egg. Once you get the bell, and you can start dinging it.
Oh God!
If you ring it, let's see, what was the subreddit say? If you ring it 115 times, so 115, you get a free perk. And I think the game that we found it in, I was just absent-mindedly ringing the bell while I was chatting with you, and you were kind of doing your thing. And I just rang it enough times that it spawned the perk.
I know, I couldn't quite believe it myself. I was like, hold on. I was like, where did I get death perception from?
It's like just purely like ADHD addled brain, just kind of like doing something.
I'm glad you found it.
So yeah, if you and you kind of worried that it was going to kind of be a bit of a time sink in the game that we actually did the Easter egg of ringing the bell.
Yeah.
But actually, if you just kind of keep at it, and while someone's doing a bit of the Easter egg, if someone's just dinging the bell and waiting around, you do get it pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you could always maybe do like, I don't know, 10 per round or something like that. Do it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else to mention about side Easter eggs?
No, I think that's it. We weren't able to find the others in our playthrough. I believe you've looked them up, but it's probably not worth covering them until we've...
but being as we...
Yeah. Just because it's probably not worth covering them until we've done them ourselves, so... Probably leave that there.
I mean, there's still some in, like, Citadel that I need to kind of... And Terminus that I need to do myself.
Aye.
Alright, well then, let's move on to soundtrack. So, the return of Maluka and her song Falling to Pieces. So, fire away.
Aye, it's a pretty solid pick. I do quite enjoy this one. It's nice to have a familiar voice back again, considering we've had nothing but guest appearances so far with Black Ops 6. That being said, I don't know if you knew this, but based at least on the soundtrack description, this is a crossover one, except it's the instrumental is a crossover instead of the actual vocals.
Oh, is it?
Apparently. I'm not exactly sure. I don't have the iTunes open at the minute, but I'm sure somebody else is listed under the song credits. So I'm assuming it's... Because I had a thought, like, you know, with like the bass line that comes in about quarter of the way through and all that sort of thing. I was like, it doesn't sound like anything Kevin's really done before. So I guess it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
If it's somebody else.
Oh, they're in the non-instrumental version, the actual version as well. The Intervals.
Intervals, yeah, that's the one.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, I've no idea who they are, but it was just nice to see that one was also a crossover, just an instrumental version, I suppose. But yeah, no, I really appreciated seeing Maluka again. When was the last time we had Maluka? Drowning, was it? I believe it was.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So yeah, it's been a long time.
Didn't they each do 2 in
like Black Ops 4? Yeah, there's Where Are We Going as well as Drowning. Clark did.
Yeah. So she did the. Yeah. So Drowning or Where Are We Going?
Aye. It's crazy to think, isn't it? There's been since Black Ops 4 that we last had one.
I'm low-key kind of holding out hope that we might hear Clark and Elena.
I'd like to have Elena back at least for at least one. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's just nostalgia speaking, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel right when she doesn't have a single song in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Going back to the current one, I do really enjoy it. It's different. Like I say, like the bass line and all that makes it sound very unique compared to the previous stuff. I don't think it's my favourite on this game, but I do really like it. I think it's spot on. What about you?
I mean, yeah, it's a pretty solid pick, to be honest. I prefer it to the previous one, but again, Dig was a bit too screamer heavy for me.
Yeah.
But I'd still say Slave is my favourite song in this game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But no, this is a really solid pick, and like you, it's really nice to kind of hear Maluka kind of returning. She's always had more kind of somber sounding music.
Yeah. And
it's nice that in this one, like this song Falling to Pieces has got her somber vocals, but it's actually got quite a bit of an upbeat pace to it, which I really, really like.
Yeah, it's kind of more like Drowning, isn't it? I guess, like with the chorus and that. It's a bit crunchier. Or Dead Flowers, it's a bit crunchier and a bit heavier than Maluka's standard stuff for zombies, which is always nice.
Yeah.
And again, always running's kind of crunchy as well. At least on the chorus.
True. Yeah. But she always kind of maintains that kind of somber kind of vocalization while the music does the kind of more heavy stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know, I think it works. I think they complement each other quite well.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it.
Yeah, same here.
And it's always nice to kind of hear an old hat back at the vocals again. So
absolutely.
As I said, I'm hoping that we'll get Clark and Elena back, but we'll see. What about the rest of the soundtrack? Any kind of standouts?
Not particularly on this one. I haven't gone through the soundtrack myself. Like I did when we covered the Tomb. I'd already gone through it, but I haven't gone through this one. So I'm not entirely sure if there's much in there. I did like the nods to some of the older themes in the cutscene with Richtofen. They reused some of the old Black Ops 3 music. Theme. Yeah, that was always like really nice to hear again. Isn't there one piece of reused music when you're doing the rituals and stuff? Can't remember which one that is.
Oh yeah, the one that they use in like is it Terminus or?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I know the one you mean. Yeah.
Other than that, though, I can't really think of a lot of the music in this one. The round change is pretty good, I suppose. I think for me, the Tomb round change takes the cake. I still really like that one.
I remember you saying that there's been a few times where you thought power up has been spawning in.
Yeah, I swear they use the same soundbite. I'm convinced it's the same soundbite. Like, I'm not even joking. It literally does sound like the sound when a power up just drops. It's weird. Gets me every time. But yeah, no, this one's been a bit not bad or anything. Just kind of average. I don't really have any strong feelings about it. To be honest.
Yeah, I'd probably fall in that camp as well, to be honest. There's not really kind of any standout tunes apart from like the return of like, or the kind of reuse of like the Easter theme.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there was. I mean, even the Xerex fight wasn't kind of a standout as something like Patient 13.
Oh
so, yeah. But no, I don't hate it. It's just like you said, it's average.
Oh yeah, 100%. I was just gonna say, like I say, I haven't listened to the Xerex theme properly, so I might find something to like in it once I've listened to it properly. But in game, it didn't really stick out to me in any way. It was just kind of there. I remember liking the Guardian one. That one was really good.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, this one just kind of fell into the background a little bit. I felt like. Like I say, not to say it's bad. It was just kind of average.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Anything else to add?
No, I don't think so. I think we might finally be through it.
Cool.
With 2 hours to spare.
Yeah. I know. He said it was gonna.
Said it was gonna be a
short
short
one. They said nope. Okay. Well, unless there is. Yeah, if you've got nothing else to add, we'll close it off then.
Alright, sounds good.
So, next episode, we're going to take a break from zombies and talk about Dark Souls.
Oh, God.
We're going to be covering Dark Souls, being as Josh is at what I consider the halfway point of the game, more or less. He still hasn't beaten, for you Souls nerds there, he hasn't beaten ONS yet, so he's not quite at the halfway point, but he's more or less.
Right.
So I think he's at, though I think Josh is now at a point where you've had a decent like chunk of the game, and probably hadn't got enough to kind of work on, and I think by the time we record it, we'll probably get through some more. So yeah, there's that to look forward to next episode, and then the episode after that we'll kick off our discussions on Black Ops 1 with the map Kino de Toten. So
Absolutely.
I'm really excited for that one.
I was going to say, make sure to bring your braziers with you and your torches to roast the shit out of me when we do this Dark Souls video.
He's doing fine.
Like I say, I'm going into this fully aware that I do not play these kind of games. So again, feel free to roast me for being utter crap at them, because it's going to be a fun watch. I can assure you of that much. It won't be for me, but it'll be for everybody else.
Ignore him, he's doing fine. Anyway, just again, a reminder to do the usual YouTube pleasantries. So like, share, subscribe, try and get Josh to that, 4,500 goal. So yeah, other than that, I'll give Josh the final words.
Alright, so nothing really special to say here. Again, like we said at the start, we've started uploading the soundtrack videos, so if you're interested in listening to the Terminator soundtrack and haven't already bought it, then feel free to go listen to it there. But again, I highly encourage that you buy it. Like I say, I'm still having a moral fight over uploading them or not, so I am imploring you to go buy the album if you can. But beyond that, you can always join the Discord and all that, like Aidan was saying before. And we'd like to know what you think about the Shattered Veil as well, and if you share the same opinions as we do. It's always nice to have a discussion about these sorts of things, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But yeah, beyond that, I think that pretty much covers everything. So we'll see you in the next one. See ya.